Okay. Let us look at how
कोई
to.
भी रीड नहीं कर रहा मैं मैसेज
Huh?
ग्रुप में मैसेज डाला है, लेकिन कोई भी रीड नहीं कर रहा मैं मैसेज.
No problem. No problem. You listen. So today we will look at how to install TensorFlow, Keras. What are these? And we'll look at different aspects of it. So TensorFlow, if you remember, it is a open source deep learning framework. It is developed and maintained by Google. Okay, and Keras, uh, earlier versions of TensorFlow does not include Keras, but from TensorFlow 2.0, Keras is an integral part of TensorFlow. So you can access Keras from TensorFlow using tf.keras. Keras is also a high-level deep learning library, and it simplifies the task of writing deep learning programs. And you can just write a program for image segmentation or object detection in few lines if you use Keras. All of most of the operations have already been implemented. You just have to. All right, so these are the contents which we will look at. We'll see how to install TensorFlow and Keras. No need to install Keras actually, it comes with TensorFlow. And what is Keras and what is tf.keras, and how to check whether TensorFlow has been installed or not, and deep learning model life cycle. There are 5 steps: uh, model life cycle, and sequential model and functional model, and how to develop deep learning models, uh, advanced model features, and how to get a better model performance. First topic in this is install TensorFlow and tf.keras. What is Keras? It is an open source library. It is written in Python. It was developed by Francois Collect by in 2050. And here you see import TensorFlow.tf. If you import TensorFlow as TF, and then you can use Keras like tf.keras dot sequential. Dot sequential means this is one function. Likewise, you have multiple functions. This is known as tf.keras idiom. How to install TensorFlow? Um, you can install TensorFlow using pip install TensorFlow. Before installing TensorFlow, you just install Anaconda, and here there is a link given. This I will share this file with you. In this link, you can find how to set up Python environment for machine learning with Anaconda.
ओके मैम.
And then here, this using this statement, pip install TensorFlow. TensorFlow can be installed, and TensorFlow comes in two versions, GPU and CPU. GPU version is graphics processing unit version, that requires CUDA and CUDA libraries, and that speed up the task of this deep learning programs execution. And how to confirm? You just if you say if you try to execute the statement import TensorFlow as TF, if TensorFlow is installed, you don't get any error message. Otherwise, you get an error message. And that way, you can check whether the TensorFlow has been installed or not. Okay. And here, now in this section, we will look at the deep learning model life cycle. There are 5 steps in this life cycle: define the model, compile the model, fit, evaluate, make predictions. How do you define the model? Defining the model requires that you select the type of model. In Keras, you have a sequential model, functional model, and you have to choose the architecture or network topology because yes, in deep learning you have CNN. We have completed learning CNN, so now you can understand what a CNN is. CNN has multiple layers. It has convolutional layer, pooling layer, flattening, and a fully connected layer. So that how are you organizing those layers will uh, will give up this network topology, and that involves the layers of the model, configuring each layer, and specifying the number of nodes, activation functions, number of layers, number of nodes, which activation function you would like to use, and connecting layers together into a cohesive model. And model can be sequential or functional. All right, these are the uh, uh, topics related to defining the model. And to define the model, you can say model is equal to, means model, this is the name of the model that you are going to define, and here you have to write the you know the function. If it is sequential model, you have to invoke sequential. For functional, you have to invoke functional. And then after you define the model, you have to compile the model. What does compiling the model means? We need to specify the loss function, for instance, mean squared error or cross entropy. It also requires that you select an algorithm to perform the optimization procedure, and typically stochastic gradient descent or modern variations such as Adam is used. And you need to select any performance metrics, and you need to look at here. You are invoking HGD function, which stands for stochastic gradient descent, and you are specifying the learning rate, momentum, and you are compiling the model. How are you compiling the model? By specifying the optimizer and the loss function. This OPT. OPT is this SGD, stochastic gradient descents, learning rate, and momentum. And the common loss functions are binary cross entropy for binary classification, sparse categorical cross entropy for multi-class classification, and mean squared error for regression and so on. So compiling the model is like compile model dot compile of which optimizer, which loss. That is the second step. The third step is fit the model. How do you fit the model? Fitting the model means you have to specify the number of epochs and the batch size. And then here you specify the data. X is the data, Y is the output variable. Epochs, how many? Here in this case, it's 100. Batch size 32 here in this case. You can specify any number of batch size and any number of epochs. Evaluate the model. Once you fit the model, you can evaluate the model. Evaluating the model requires you to specify the yeah uh, data x, output y, verbose. You can put verbose on or off. It is verbose is about whether you are displaying the output or not. And then finally you can make a prediction. How can you make the prediction? And now everything is done. Training, evaluation. To make prediction, a new data is provided. In that new data, you have to specify the only data, not output. Okay. Model will predict the output. You see here, you have x and you have y. This x and y both you specify while training and validation. While training and validation, you specify both. And while making prediction, you should not specify y because system has to uh, give the result in the form of a output. You just uh, pass the x value and you ask the system to uh, predict the y value. And then what do? You check the accuracy of the system. You compare actual y with the predicted y. Okay. Let us look at all this with the help of an example. How to check the version? To check the version of the TensorFlow, you have to say import TensorFlow as TF and print TF underscore underscore version underscore underscore. So when you say TF dot version, you get the version of the TensorFlow that is installed.
मैम
Uh,
ये कोडिंग पाइथन में माना अनाकोंडा में माना मैं पूरा कोडिंग
Anaconda IDE है. Anaconda लैंग्वेज नहीं है.
अच्छा नहीं एक बार सर भी बोले थे मैम इसलिए पूछ
कौन से सर बोले थे?
सुबह सर एक क्लास में बोलते अनाकोंडा एप्लीकेशन इंस्टॉल करना
हाँ. एनाकोंडा एक प्लेटफॉर्म है, एक
प्लेटफॉर्म
IT है,
ओके
using which you can write Python
डाउनलोड
program. Python is a programming language.
यस मैम
Okay, Anaconda is an IDE.
ओके ओके
So you have to install Anaconda. When you install Anaconda, it did you install Anaconda at your laptop?
नो मैम
Why?
इंस्टॉल करता हूँ मैम
You install Anaconda, then you will understand.
ओके ओके मैम
Okay.
ओके मैम मैं एनाकोंडा इंस्टॉल करके बाद में पाइथन एप्लीकेशन डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं ना
हाँ, एनाकोंडा इंस्टॉल करने के बाद पाइथन एप्लीकेशन डेवलप कर सकते हैं।
ओके मैम थैंक
तो ये पाइथन है, दिस इज पाइथन कोड।
यू हाँ मैम
ये जो नोटबुक व्हाट यू आर सीइंग हियर, दिस इज लाइक जुपिटर नोटबुक। जुपिटर नोटबुक you create in Anaconda. I will show you on my laptop. This is Colab. This is on cloud. On my local machine also I have Anaconda. Anaconda
एनाकोंडा
Navigator. I have installed Anaconda.
एनाकोंडा
Like this, Anaconda will open.
ओके
It will take some time for it to open. Once you print the version, you can check whether there is any GPU available. If there is a GPU available, have you heard of GPU?
मैम
GPU, do you know GPU?
यस मैम
NVIDIA GPU.
हेलो
Hello.
जी मैम
हाँ, do you know
जीपीयू का फुल फॉर्म पूछ रहे हैं आप
graphics processing unit?
प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट हाँ मैम सीपीयू के
What
जैसा
is
जीपीयू
it?
नाम है
What is it? What is the use of it?
ప్రాసెసింగ్ ग्राफिक प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट में यूज तो कंप्यूटर ग्राफिक्स में एप्लीकेशंस रन करने के लिए जीपीयू यूज करते
GPU, the another use of GPU is to execute
प्रोग्राम्स
deep learning programs,
तो एग्जीक्यूट
convolutional
ओके
networks.
ओके
Okay, you can execute on GPU. So you are checking here whether you have GPU available in your machine. So here you see, okay, let me execute this.
इंपोर्ट ऑप्शन
So there are no GPUs available.
जीपीयू तो अवेलेबल रहना जीरो रहना मैम
No, it depends on your system.
सिस्टम ओके
Do you have GPU in your laptop?
मैम
Do you have
आई
GPU in your laptop?
डोंट आई डोंट नो मैम
Hmm?
आई विल चेक देन नहीं
Complete the laptop. When did you purchase?
पुराना लैपटॉप है मैम 2014
तो
था
उसमें नहीं होगा।
15 डेल i3 मैम i3 5th जनरेशन
नहीं, उसमें नहीं होगा। आजकल most of the laptops are coming with GPUs.
ओके
तो
मैम आई विल चेक another laptop with my friend laptop
ये जरूरत इससे नहीं है। It's not it's not needed. You can install execute all the programs in Colab.
okay.
Okay, then we are creating a sequential model.
Sequence okay.
And here, look at this example. This is what is this multi-layer perceptron for binary
Pandas.
classification. What are you doing in this?
Import.
Pandas import read underscore CSV. This is importing of the library. Which library you are importing? Pandas. Then from sklearn dot model selection import train test split. You have to divide the data into training set and testing set. That is done by using this uh, train test split.
Trace split.
Okay.
Okay,
This is
ma'am.
sklearn model selection.
Model selection.
Then sklearn dot pre-processing imports label encoder.
Label encoder.
This is also a function that is used to encode the data. Sequential is the model, and dense, fully connected layers are known as dense layers. So you are importing dense, and then from this path, there is a path given. From this path, this inosphere.csv dataset. Actually, you have to read that. So this path variable is initialized to this path, and then you are reading this file ionosphere.csv into the df. What is df? From where you got this df? Df is a variable. Here you can give any name. Instead of df, you can give your own name as well. And from
Okay.
where you got read underscore csv, read underscore csv you got from this pandas.
Pandas.
It is used to read the csv file.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
And then here you are splitting,
Values.
but it's not actually splitting, it's here initializing. What are you initializing? uh,
TF values.
X and y. What is x and y? When you have a data set, in your data set you have x, which are the features, and you have y, which is the y is the output, and x is a feature set. So here what are you doing? The last column minus 1 means the last. The last column you are initializing to y, and remaining all the columns to x. And then x dot as type float 32. You are changing the data into float 32, floating types. Here you are encoding. You are encoding the strings to integers. If you have any string value that you are encoding into integers, and split the data into train and test data sets. So x underscore train, x underscore test, y train, y test. How are you doing that? Using train test split function. Where it is defined, it is defining sklearn dot model underscore selection. In this folder, now is the best time to earn up to rupees 15,000 you get this function, and in this function you are 33% you are making test, and remaining data is a test. And then here printing the shape of train and test. Shape means you will get how many values are there in that. Then determine the number of input features. how many input features are there, that is determined. Then sequential model is developed.
Now is the best time to earn up to rupees 15,000 every week. We sell awesome kurtis this festive season. Festive embroidered kurtis, stylish chicken curry kurtis, elegant rayon kurtis, polka dotted designer kurtis. Start your online business with zero investment.
From here you are developing the model. Here defining the model, adding the layers, dense layer, 3 dense layer you are adding. You're compiling the model, you fit the model and evaluate the model and then make predictions. Well, here three dense layers are added to the model. Model is compiled. Model is fitting, and then here evaluate, and you are making the prediction. Let us execute this and see. So what result you
Now is
got
the
it?
best time to earn up to rupees 15,000 every week. We sell awesome kurtis this festive season. Festive embroidered kurtis,
235, 34,
stylish chicken curry kurtis,
116,
elegant
34,
rayon kurtis,
235,
polka
116.
dotted
What are
designer
these?
kurtis.
These are X and
Start
Y
your
here,
online business
shapes.
with zero investment.
X train dot shape, X test dot shape, Y train dot shape, Y test dot shape. So in X train you have 235 and 34. Test test you have 116.
Now is the best time to earn up
And
to
you see
rupees
test
15,000
accuracy is
every week.
87%
We
and
sell
prediction
awesome
accuracy
kurtis
is
this festive season. Festive embroidered kurtis,
99%.
stylish chicken curry kurtis, elegant rayon
This
kurtis,
is here
polka
you are
dotted
doing
designer
for
kurtis. Start your online
multi-class
business with zero
classification.
investment.
You try to execute this. I'll explain you tomorrow. Okay, I'll share the file with you. Please try to explain. Tomorrow we'll see. Okay, bye.